healthcare is we can be.
We must be the first generation
to end extreme poverty.
The generation
most determined
to fight injustice
and inequalities.
The generation that saves the planet from climate change.
And this is how it will get done.
The global goals.
A 15-year plan
For everyone.
Everywhere.
with no one left behind.
We will live in a world
where nobody
anywhere
lives in extreme poverty.
Where no one
goes hungry,
where no one wakes in the morning
Asking if there will be food today.
We will live in a world
Where no child has to die.
Diseases we know how to cure.
And where proper healthcare
is a lifelong right for us all.
we will live in a world
where everyone goes to school
and education gives us the knowledge
and skills
for a fulfilling life.
We will live in a world where all girls and all women have equal opportunities
to thrive
and be powerful
and safe.
We cannot succeed if half the world is head down.
we will live in a world
where all people can get clean water
and proper toilets
at home,
At school.
and at work.
We will live in a world where there is sustainable energy for everyone.
Heat, light, and power for the whole planet.
Without destroying the planet.
We'll live in a world where economies prosper.
and new wealth.
Lead to decent jobs.
For everyone.
And we will live in a world where our industry,
Our infrastructure and our
Best innovations
Are not just used to make money, but to make all our lives better.
we will live in a world
Where prejudices and extremes of inequality
Are defeated.
Inside our countries
And between different countries.
where people live in cities and communities
that are safe, progressive,
and support everyone who lives there.
where we replace
What we consume.
Planet where we put back what we take out of the earth.
We live in a world that is decisively rolling back from
climate change,
where we restore and protect the life in our oceans and seas. We'll restore
and protect
Life on land.
The forests.
animals.
the earth itself.
with peace between and inside countries.
Where all governments are open.
And answer to us for what they do at home and abroad.
And the justice rules.
With everyone equal before the law.
Where all countries and we their people.
Work together.
Partnerships of all kinds.
To make these goals a reality.
These are the United Nations global goals.
For sustainable development.
Let's get to work.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are across the globe. I hope you're excited to join this call this afternoon from Nigeria. Yes, we have a lot of people on the call already. Ijoma says hello, hello. Wende says hello from Kenya. Brian says hello from Nairobi. Thank you and welcome. Kingston says hello. You're welcome. Thank you for joining this call. Thank you very much. I see all of you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Uche from Enugu. Thank you. Eunice, I see you from Kenya. You're welcome. Thank you. Yes, yes, I'm also excited to be on this call this afternoon. Thank you. Golden Voice from Ghana. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome to today's session. Yusuf from Nigeria says, hello. It's good to hear from all of you. Thank you. Keep it coming. Stanley, you're welcome from Enugu, Nigeria. Thank you everyone. I'm excited to be on this call this afternoon. I don't know about you, but I see some comments already showing their excitement. Patricia from Malawi says hello as well. You're welcome. It's good to actually have all of you on this call. It's good to have everyone on this call, and I'm excited to be with you, going through this section with you today. My name is Adiola, as you can see on the screen, and I would like us to make this session today as engaging, interactive as possible. So, thank you, Rashid from Kenya. Thank you. Without further ado, this will be like a sustainable greetings to everyone from wherever you are across the group, like I said, and on behalf of the team of the SDG Mentorship Programme, African Mentorship Programme, we say you're welcome. And then, of course, from AIIDEV Africa as well. Welcome to today's workshop, and I hope you came prepared because there is a lot for you already. Yeah, I believe that last week's session was like very insightful. We spoke about the goals that we hope that Africa can achieve, because obviously this 2030, we might not be able to catch up with it, but this is why we are here. This is why all of us are here, so that we can, set reasonable and sustainable goals, and then we can work together to achieve them. So again, we are here to learn, and I assure you that it's going to be better even than last week's session. Meanwhile, before we proceed to today's topic, we would like for feedback from whatever you took home from last week's session. So I would like only 2 participants to, share what they learned from last week's session. And I would also be reading from YouTube. So please, you can just volunteer by using the raise hand option, and I will pick 2 people and also read some on YouTube as well. Feedback time. I know we learned a lot, so yeah, we definitely have something to say back. Good evening. I still see some people greeting. James Mugalia says it was awesome last week, and then we learned about the 2063 agenda. Yes, we did. Thank you, James. Esther also agrees. Thank you. Moses says, I was able to learn about the Africa 2063 agenda and the key priorities. Ruth says, I learned about the 7 aspirations of the Agenda 2063. Thank you. Welcome, Benedicta. Yusuf says, we learned about the African Union. Yes, thank you. I am sure that we all have something to say because we all learned something great last week. Susan says the role of the youth, which is very important, which is part of why we are here anyways. So thank you, Susan, for that. As it does, says we learned about the African Union, its mission and vision, its objectives and recognizers. Thank you very much. Well, I sincerely appreciate everyone for their feedback and their responses. And but without further ado, I would like us to move into the business of the day. And right now, we have a very special person with us today. In fact, I would say that while I was arranging myself for this meeting, I did not actually catch on time that our special guest for today would be someone that is special to me and also special to you. Anyways, before I introduce him to the house, I would like to say that you all need to prepare your minds, because this session is going to be mind-blowing because of who our speaker is. He's loaded, and you all agree with me that not a word would be missing without carrying a whole lot of meaning. So please, today's speaker would be Emmanuel Ola-Olowoyo, who is a development catalyst, an esteemed scholar in sustainable development. As the network coordinator of the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network Nigeria, Emmanuel steers the continent towards achieving the SDGs, impacting over 10 million Africans. In 2019, Emmanuel founded the Advanced Initiative for International Development, which is AIIDEV Africa, an organization dedicated to pioneering innovative solutions aimed at achieving sustainable development in Africa. It specializes in formulating developmental policies and programs and conducting multidisciplinary research and projects to tackle global issues. So Emmanuel's unwavering dedication to development and his visionary leadership continue to leave an indelible impact in Nigeria and across Africa as well. To the main person who gave all of us the opportunity of gathering here today and even participating in this wonderful program, and with great honor and pleasure, please join me as I welcome Mr. Emmanuel. We are really delighted to have you here this afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Adiola. Thank you for having me, and thank you for this introduction. I so much appreciate. And to the entire project team for this program, thank you for the amazing work which you are doing. Thank you for the amazing work which you are doing. And I'm so glad to be here this afternoon again to be speaking on the SDGs, which is something that I live with and I also get to breathe on. Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak on the topic evolution and concept of sustainable development. And to our esteemed fellows on this call, I also want to say congratulations once again, and because this program is just one very good program which we help you and definitely build your capacity in the professional development space. Quickly diving into today's session. Yeah, and as I've earlier been introduced, just in a minute, I'm going to be sharing my screen now. However, I always like to take this feedback and just to assess each and everyone's level of awareness when it comes to the aspect of sustainable development, because it's one thing, sustainable development is just that buzzword you hear in every conferences, every publication. If you are not hearing sustainable development, you'll be hearing sustainability, you'll be hearing corporate sustainability, you'll be hearing things that has to do with ESG, you'll be hearing the word sustainable development goals. So you won't be hearing that we should live sustainably. So a lot of phrase and what that centers around the activities of sustainable development. And I'm going to ask this very simple question, and I want each and every one of you to use the comment section to drop it and to share your answer. When was the first time you heard about the word sustainable development? When was the first time you heard about the word sustainable development? Was it in 2012 when they started the formation process, or was it in 2015 when it was implemented, or was it 2020, the decade of action, or was it last year, 2023, or maybe today? I'm not sure it should be today, because definitely you've heard about sustainable development in line to this program. When was the first time you engaged on the word sustainable development? When was the first time? I want to see our comments. I want to see our answers in the comment section. Yeah, all right. Thank you, everyone, welcoming me. I just want to see our answers before we dive into today's session. Oh, thank you, Majima. I said back in 2015. Oh, amazing. Very Blessing said in 2012. Oh, that means you are part of the formation process. And if you've heard about the word sustainable development, definitely you are part of the formation process. Okay, someone said 2010. However, there is no how you could have heard about the word, well, you could have heard about the word sustainable development, but definitely it's not legal and into practice, just like we have the SDGs. Yeah, okay, I can see a lot of people saying 2021, 2016, 2015, 2015, okay, 2012, I can see 2019. Yeah, very good, very good, very good. And it's so good to be seeing that many of us have already got the grasp of this word sustainable development. And you know, just like that term says sustainable development, what does it really mean? And I think that's one of the major things which I'm going to be diving much on in today's session. And how can we get to amplify the attainment of sustainable development? When our host was sharing something earlier, she said something that we are very close to the 2030 agenda. And, you know, it's one thing to move closer to achieving it. It's one probability of we achieving it. It's another probability of we not achieving it. And I was on a session, I think that was the day before yesterday, and I asked those who were in the session that, do you think it's possible? Do you think it's visible for us to achieve the 2030 agenda for sustainable development? Many people said no. And the question is, yeah, we have like 6 years more, 6 years and maybe 4 months, because September 2030, the United Nations General Assembly are going to converge, talking about the United Nations 2.0, what's going to be the next phase. But the question is, do you think it's possible? Do you see the probability of achieving the SDGs across our respective countries? I know that we have people from over 20 African countries joining this call, but let's be realistic. And definitely, you know, you have your justification to saying that maybe yes or no. So you can just share in the comment section as well. What do you think? Do you think it's realistic? Achieving the 2030 agenda for sustainable development? And what's your thoughts? What's your take? Saying yes, maybe, or saying no. Since I don't want to give answers actually, but I just want to see what is your own submission, what is your own opinion to this when it comes to achieving the SDGs in 2030. Okay, I can see people saying 2023, 2015. All right, like this session, I'll try as much as possible to make it very interactive. However, I know I have a whole lot of information to dish out, but I might be very, very fast. Don't mind me. But I just want to see our comments. I also want us to engage and discuss, which is more of what we are going to do in this session. Okay, Margaret said not completely achieved because some targets can be met. Okay. All right, thank you for that, Margaret. And I still want to see 1 or 2 comments. Yes, it is a yes, true empowering the youth. Oh, amazing. James, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I don't think it's realistic, I believe significant progress can be made by 10. Mary Blessing. All right, thank you for that. Then Kirsten said it's not absolutely realistic, not at all, but probably some, yes. All right. Probability of about 0.3. Okay, Precious, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I love what you just said. Faith said yes. Okay, Faith said yes to that. If African government are committed, I want to see someone that has something entirely different. Data, okay. Majima said data collection to verify how far it seems to be lagging. Okay, all right. I just want to see more comments. I think more could be done, but a good start. All right, Honoria. Then Moses, sustainable development can be achieved through the following ways. Improvement in human capacity is needed through better education and health care. Yeah, absolutely, you are correct. You are correct, Moses. Okay, Joki said, I think that 100% achieving is not realistic, but there are milestones that we have achieved and will achieve, and we should learn from that. Okay, thank you, every one of you. Thank you for sharing this, and thank you for sharing these very salient truths when it comes to achieving SDGs in Africa. So let's say in Africa, and I'm going to be sharing some results when it comes to activities of SDGs in Africa. I think amongst the 166 nations that were rated by United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network last year, Tunisia happens to be the top amongst, or I think that should be 88 out of 166 countries. I won't tell you the position of my country, Nigeria, anyway. So, and so many African countries are between 120, 140, and 115. There is a whole lot that needs to be done. However, I still believe that Africa has a larger potential. I mean, we have a very strong potential in achieving the SDGs. So let's dive into our discussion for today. And basically, I'm going to be taking you through the background of sustainable development. I will speak briefly about the evolution and also what was the formation process like. And also, I'll be speaking about the transition from MDGs to SDGs. And we'll talk more about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which I believe each and every one of you should know and should be able to recite. And yeah, talking more about the concept, there are basic dimensions, pillars, and principles to the 2030 Agenda for the Sustainable Development. And also we have the SDG transformations and levers, which are going to help to accelerate the attainment of the 2030 Agenda. And also we talk about the strategies for amplifying the SDGs. And I'm so glad that some of us are already sharing some strategies which can help us to achieve the SDGs by 2030. All right. Thank you, everyone, once again. And talking about sustainable development, just like I said, it's just that buzzword that you hear everywhere. I mean, you see it in every publication. But in a layman language, how can you define sustainable development? And this is a policy, this is a framework that defines our yesterday, our today, and tomorrow. And this is what defines our future. This is what defines the next generation from meeting their own needs. And one of the very globally accepted definition of sustainable development is that development that meets the needs of this current generation, without compromising the ability of the next generation to meet their own needs. And how can we define that? Let's do a flashback. I know that most of us that are on this call are between the ages of, I think that should be 25 or maybe 24 to 40. And let's say 20 years ago or 15 years ago, what was that thing that you always see then and you no longer see again in your environment? Like maybe a plant, an animal, a wildlife, or what's that food you always eat and it's a very common food when you were very young and it's no longer in existence again. I just want one or two answers. I mean, one or two comments regarding that. What was that plant? What was that food? Or what's that thing you always see within your community, within your environment, maybe at home, in school, when you were very young? But okay, wow, Yusuf Mohammed said butterflies. I agree totally with you. And I still want to see another answer. Is any other person that has another thing, maybe a food or maybe, okay, I can see streams, unreliable rainfall, okay, water streams. Oh, Kalinga said dinosaur and Margaret said vulture, then aloe vera. Okay, Baba Dundun. I want to show, okay, is it Baba Dudu you want to say? Or I want to get that pronunciation very correctly. Sunflower, locust. Yeah, these are things that in some of our environments, in some of our communities, has actually gone into extinction. Someone just said butterflies are very rare nowadays. And these butterflies, they have a whole lot of advantage they play when it comes to humanity. when it comes to biodiversity. Those of you that did biology, then I like biology. And those of you that didn't like biology, definitely know yourself. So, one of the major things is these lives do no longer exist just because the current generation has compromised. We've compromised. Won't say the older generation to have compromised. We have all compromised. When there is this question that people keep asking, that before the issues of plastics, that is now is something that we are struggling with each and every day, came in. What were they using before? There are materials they were using before. And the effects of these plastics, life underwater, life on land. So sustainable development is more focusing on we not compromising these natural resources, we not depleting these natural resources, we ensuring that there is ecological balance, we ensuring that the societies are inclusive, we ensuring that the environment is being kept safe, we ensuring that prosperity is being shared equally, and we ensuring that we are living in a greener and a clean environment. That's the basis of sustainable development, ensuring that the next generation are able to meet their own needs. And I will still dive more into what exactly is the concept of this sustainable development. And quickly, when you talk about the evolution of sustainable development, please, I would also like you time me, Ebu. I'm not supposed to use more than 1 hour for this session. But I'll try as much as possible to make it very brief and ensure that we still cover a whole lot for this session. When we talk about the history of sustainable development, this we can get to trace back to 1948 on the United Nations of Human Rights. And getting to focus more then was having a balance between environment and development. And that was when the United Nations Conference on Human Environment was held, which led to the establishment of the United Nations Environmental Programme, which we commonly know as UNEP. And moving further to the common future, that's 1987, but I won't actually want to bore with this, but basically we need to know the backgrounds, and we also need to know the evolution, how it all started, how sustainable development all started. And leading to 1992, where we had the Agenda 21, and also in 2000, where we had the Millennium Declaration for Sustainable Development, that's the MDGs, where the 8 MDGs were being formed. And in 2012, over 150 world leaders came together and said that there is a need for us to advance these MDGs, because definitely there are a whole lot of issues around the MDGs when it comes to adoption process, when it comes to formulation process, when it comes to the participatory process, because many countries, most especially then the developing countries, believe that it was enforced on them by the developed countries. And the participatory process, the formation process was a kind of piecemeal approach. And there's this mindset of the global south and the global north. Even now it still exists, but the SDGs came in more better, whereby it's inclusive, it's applicable to each and every country, be it a developed country, be it a developing country, be it underdeveloped country, whichever category you belong to, it's applicable to you, and it's inclusive. Whichever religion you are coming from, whichever ethnic group you are coming from, whichever country you are coming from, it's applicable to you. And moving further to the activities of the sustainable development, talking about the formation of sustainable development, this happened to be the largest participatory process ever implemented. We have the Paris Agreement, and we also have the Global Seed Treaty, and which are great innovations, great policies that have been formed. And talking about the formulation process, how long it took to achieve this, it was it started all, just like I said, it started all the way from 2012 to 2015. And at each point, like I said, different people, not just the governments. Okay, in the session I led some day before yesterday, someone was saying that the sustainable development goals were formed by the government and being enforced of them. Sorry, I'm having a distraction here. I hope you can still hear me, Adiola. Having a distraction here by call. And the man was so not clear. And I told them that the formation of the SDGs was not just from the government alone. The private sectors were involved, academia were involved, different group of people were involved, CSO, NGOs, different set of people were involved in this formation process, which later led to the implementation September 25 in 2015 by the 193 member of states. And one of the major things which we see that is a major priority in achieving sustainable development is financing. And last year it was recorded by the UN economists that an estimate between 5.4 to 6.4 trillion is going to be needed each year in order to achieve these SDGs. And which is one key area because there needs to be a long-term investment and financing from each and every government. And so good that we have a lot of governments, a lot of countries that are adopting the SDGs into their framework, not like before. And looking at the transition from MDGs to SDGs, just like I said, what's really made SDGs more special, more better, more appealing to people than the MDGs. One of the things is the adoption process. And another thing is the participatory process and how applicable it is amongst country. And you can see on the screen here, we have 8 major MDGs, and here we have 17 goals that are more focused on the aspect of environment, social, and economic. And not just focus on environment and health alone. If we look at MDG 3, MDG 4, MDG 5, MDG 6, those are mostly focused on health. And that's what is forming SDG 3 now. And when you look at MDG 1, MDG 1 was later focused more on created as SDG 1 and SDG 2. And many of these goals, which are very, 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 interconnected. I think I'm going to speak more on that when I get to the aspect of the SDGs. But there's this question I always ask people, that who has a major role in achieving sustainable development? You can see on the screen, we have 6 group of people, but definitely you have 4 pictures, but let's focus on these 4 categories first. Is it the government? Is it the private sector or companies? Is it the maybe religious organization or the youth? I just want each and everyone to type in the comment section, who do you think has the major role in accelerating the SDGs? Who do you think has the major role? Please, you can drop your answer in the comment section. I want you to drop your answer in the comment section right away. Who has the major role? Okay, Yusuf said the government. Yusuf, I really wish you can unmute your mic now and share your thoughts, why you think the government, but you can also type quickly. You can also type quickly to share with us, why do you think it's the government? Oh, Majuma said all of us. That is a very great thought. All right. Isaac said the youth. Nice one, nice one. Kalinga said the youth. Okay. All right. That is a very good one. Constance said the youth. And I can see a lot of people saying youth, all of them, government. Why is nobody talking about the private sector? Why is nobody talking about religious organization? We have a lot of churches and a lot of mosques out there. Yeah, why is nobody talking about religious organization? All of us. Okay, I think I'm going to stop sharing and I'm just going to use a video to answer this question. Let me see if I can quickly play a video to answer this question. because it's something that I really enjoy, but I don't enjoy when you are putting it to just one person, most especially when you talk about who is mostly needed, or who has the major role when it comes to achieving the SDGs. Just see this video. I think it's less than 2 minutes, 30 seconds, or 3 minutes or thereabouts. All right, yeah. I hope you can see from your hand. I would like a confirmation from the studio here if you can hear me.
Yes, please. Here you are.
सर आपके लिए उस पार कार का इंतजाम किया है सर। सर आइए सर प्लीज। ये चल चल क्या बात करता है, क्या ऊपर से जाएगा, क्या ऊपर से जा जा।
गया मेरी शो।
I hate this country. कुछ करो ना।
अब मैं वहां जाके क्या उखाड़ लूंगा।
कैसी जाने बूंदे आई, जाने कैसा दर्द लाई, सामने क्या है ये तेरे, क्यों रुका है तू बता रे हो। कौन तुझको पार लेगा, कौन होगा वो मसीहा, जिसे तू ढूंढता है वो ही है तू वही है। तुझ में तेरा रास्ता है, तुझ में तेरा है सहारा, तू ही तुझको पार लेगा, तू ही है तेरा किनारा। रास्ता है, तुझ में तेरा है सहारा, तू ही तुझको पार लेगा, तू ही है तेरा किनारा। जिसे ढूंढता है तू ही रहे, तू ही रहे, तू ही रहे तेरा मसीहा हो।
All right. Thank you, everyone. And I would just leave this with you. And I believe this speaks volumes to you. And when it comes to achieving the SDGs, no one is meant to be left out. And that's why we have the word leaving no one behind. Leaving no one behind. We all have to come together as one. We all have to unite. But when you look at that video, who was the major driver? Who was the major driver to achieving that impact? I hope you know that it was that young boy. And when it comes to achieving the SDGs as well, we, the younger generation, we have a major role to play. We have a major. There might not be really much time for us to analyze this video. I really wish we can. There is still a lot of work to cover when it comes to today's session. But very, very importantly, it's a multi-stakeholder approach whereby each and everyone is being needed without leaving anyone behind. I mean, without leaving anyone behind. And when you look at the SDGs, we have the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, starting from Goal 1 to Goal 17. And I believe each and every one of us here, we are not jack of all trade. What do I mean by that? You are not the type of person that you say that you advocate or innovate for all the SDGs. No, that's very wrong. And one of the things this program is going to guide you on is to have a particular goal which you innovate on, which you are making impact on. And I believe maybe towards the phase 2 of the program, the project project team will definitely know and definitely guide you better on how to be able to know the major goal which aligns with your vision, which aligns with your career perspective. And looking at the SDGs, I always remember that whenever they asked us to recite the SDGs, then some of us are very quick to recite this: no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. And one of the professional exams I wrote on SDGs, and it made us to have a deep, in-depth understanding on the SDGs, what SDG 1 stands for: ending poverty in all its form, everywhere. And looking at this SDG 1, it adds its own targets and indicators. And what are those targets, man? What does it really mean? The targets are for each and every goal. This is what we intend to achieve. This is what we intend to achieve. It's just like, let me use this training for example now. Maybe the major goal for this training is to make impact in the lives of African youth. And one of the major targets might be to say that we intend to train 5,000 youths before 2030, or maybe before 2035. And what does an indicator mean? An indicator means that, having been trained 5,000, or maybe, let me say 2,500 females and 2,500 males. Those are major indicators. And another indicator could be, out of those 5,000 youths you are training, maybe 1,000 are people that are having issues of disabilities. And those are major indicators for each and every goal. And this is also going to be shared with you, but you can also check my LinkedIn page that I did an SDG spotlight last year, talking about the 17 goals and some other content around sustainable development, which I was able to emphasize more about on each targets and indicators. But most importantly, this is very, very important. This is very, very key for us to have a good understanding on, if at all you want to make impact through the SDGs, if at all you want to really make great impact through the SDGs. And talking about the SDGs, just like I said, we have the 17 goals, which are more focused across activities of environment, social, and economy. And you can use the acronym SEE, just like you can see. And that's the easiest way to remember that. And we have the 169 target and 230 plus individual indicators. So why did I use the word individual indicators? In the total of all the indicators we have for the 169 targets, we have 241 indicators when you total from SDG 1 to 17. But sometimes you see in some publications, they say that we have 232 indicators, we have 230 indicators. The very correct one is 230 plus indicators. Why do we have that 230 plus indicators? Amongst some of the targets, we have some of them that were repeated. We have like 9 indicators that were repeated, just like you see that is target 7.A1 is similar to target 13.A1. And another one which is very similar to that is target 15.A1, which is similar to target 15.B1. It was repeated. And when you minus all of those, you have 230 plus indicators. But most importantly, when we are leading projects, when we are running some basic activities, we need to have an in-depth understanding of each of those targets. And I believe they're also going to be providing us with more resources. There are some resources which I will later share with the programs team, and they'll be able to share with you. And the other time I said these targets and indicators, they are well interconnected. And you can see how from maybe peace, maybe from peace here, that is SDGs 16, how it's been connected to inequalities, which we have for SDG 10, and also education here, which is also being connected to sustainable sustainable consumption and production. and that's SDG 12. So these goals and targets, they are interconnected, and we need to have an in-depth knowledge about it. And someone was talking about data and results, measuring progress when it comes to achieving the SDGs. I earlier mentioned that in Africa, yeah, we are doing very well. But when it comes to ratings, we are very far behind. We are very far behind. In fact, you can check, you can see here that we have the Sub-Saharan Africa. Look at the development when it comes to achieving no poverty. And when you see something like this, the red means that the major challenge remains. And though there is quite a little progress, but it's still stagnating. And I think the major goal which we are quite achieving well in Africa has to do with responsible consumption and production. That is SDG 12, and you can see that we are on track, very well on track. And also in Northern, that's the Middle East and North Africa, challenges remain, however, they are on track. So, and another goal which we are also quite doing well in Sub-Saharan Africa is that is SDG 13, climate action. Though challenges remain, we are also on track. But many of these goals, there is a need for us to look at areas, look at solutions to it. And I always say where there is problem, when there is problem, whenever you're able to say that you're able to identify a particular problem, a particular challenge in a community, that means there is opportunity for investment. There is opportunity for innovation to take place. And we as youth, and because everyone on this call, I believe we are all youth, it's very, very important to be the next, the change makers who are going to make great development across these goals. Very, very important. So I will still advise each and everyone, you can get the Sustainable Development Report published in 2023. I know the 2024 edition is going to be out maybe later in June or July. You can check how your country is performing when it comes to the SDGs. Yeah, moving forward to the aspect of the dimensions and pillars of sustainable development. This is a very key and important area which I want each and every one of us to take note. Yeah, we are for the dimensions of sustainable development, we have three basic dimensions. That's we call it three-legged stool. That's social, economic, and environmental. And each of these has its own it has its own way of measuring them. One of the major ways of measuring social sustainability or social progress in a country is the happiness index. We have the happiness index, which is always published each and every year. I think, another one which we use to measure the economic sustainability is the GDP measure for each and every state. Each and every country. And for environmental is the the carbon footprint. Yeah, you can use the carbon footprint to measure for each and every country. But most importantly, each of these goals are quite linked to each of the dimensions of SDGs. And what does social sustainability focus on? It focuses on quality of life. It focuses on education, improving livelihood, and when it comes to the aspect of reducing the level of poverty, when it comes to having access to water, when it comes to having access to good health, these are things that the social sustainability aspect looks at. And the economic part is more focused on cost reduction, cost of living, and the environmental part is what each and every one are so much concerned about. We talk about climate change each and every day. We talk about green energy. We talk about green opportunities that are around. But very, very important, amongst all of these, we have a major one which is very key, and that is governance. In achieving these three, in achieving social sustainability, economic sustainability, and environmental sustainability, governance is very key. It's very key in each and every country. And that's when we have the means of implementation as SDG 16 and SDG 17. If you look at the dimensions here, we can see that SDG 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are focused on social. And also talking more about pillars. These pillars are 5 key areas which the SDGs are also sectioned as well. We have the people, we are the people, and we have the planet which we live in, and we have the aspect of partnership. I'm going to save this partnership for the last part of today's discussion. And we have peace. I always say that there can be sustainable development when there is no peace, and there can be peace where there is no sustainable development. There are a lot of schools that are being shut down for many months now. There are a lot of look at the issues of war, insecurity, and we also have the aspect of prosperity. Yeah, these are key areas which are well connected to the SDGs. And earlier that's after the decade of action, the Sustainable Development Solution Network came up with the SDGs transformations and levels, that if we can achieve the 17 SDGs, but we can achieve this 6 transformation, then we are good to go. So the strategy behind the SDG transformation is for us to ensure that we are making progress across the SDGs. And you can see transformation 1 focusing on quality education, gender and inequality. And also transformation 2 focus on well-being, good health, and looking at the aspect of demography. And transformation 3 focus on energy, green energy and sustainable industry. That's SDG 7 and SDG 9. Very, very important. And transformation 4 focus on sustainable food, life, water, and ocean. That's very, very, very important. We need to ensure all of this. And transformation 5 focuses on sustainable cities and community. And the 6th one is the digital revolution for sustainable development. And when you talk about the levels are the possible ways in achieving this transformation, in achieving the SDGs. And the very first key level, which they recommended then, was governance, just like I earlier mentioned. And the second one is more focused on economic and finance. I was saying something according to the UN economists, the amount that is needed in achieving the SDGs in each and every year. There is a whole lot of investment. However, there is a whole lot of investment which we are not benefiting from, and very, very important. I know after you might have completed this program, you have a good understanding and areas where you can get to approach and secure such opportunities. Another key area is individual and collective action. Just like the video we saw the other time, it starts from each and every one of us. We might say, yeah, the government carves it all. There needs to be a thriving environment for every businesses, for every business owner, for every youth out there. Very, very important. It starts from each and every one of you on this call. Another key area is science and technology, and also capacity building, which I will always appreciate AIIDEV for, on what they are doing in getting to make impact in the life of each and every Africans. And yeah, there is still so much to learn when it comes to sustainable development. And I will advise each and every one of you to visit the SDG Academy. It's one place that you can have your self-paced course. There are a lot of courses on SDG Academy, the ones that are focused on natural resources for sustainable development, the ones that are focused on how we can achieve the SDGs, and the ones that are focused on leadership. These are free courses which you can enroll on. And those that are in Nigeria, neighboring countries, you can also check Center for Sustainable Development out, and they have a whole lot of MSc courses and PhD courses on sustainable development, not just focusing on energy, climate, and the likes. And there is this question that I always ask, that each and every one of us, in as much as we know that there is a need for us to experience change in our world, in our environment, the question is, what are you doing currently? So let's take this year, for example, now, between January until date, what have you been doing that you are very sure accelerates the attainment of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development? Between January and May, what have you been doing? I just want to read more. I want to see your answers in the comment section. What have you been doing? What have you been doing? What have you been doing between January that focus that you are very sure that it accelerates the attainment of SDGs? And because there is this common saying that every one of us, we really want to experience change, but none of us wants to change. There is this campaign that we did recently, that's the Eco 30 Sustainable Living Challenge, and see a lot of people from different countries participating in these, adopting eco-friendly lifestyle because they want to be the change they intend to see in the world. So what have you been doing? So you need to ask yourself, what have you been doing that you are very sure it's contributing to accelerate the attainment of SDGs in 2030? And moving on, I will talk about what exactly is going to be the impact if I contribute to this. I mean, in this my efforts towards the SDGs, what is going to be the impact? One of the major impacts which we are going to experience is economic growth and stability. And this leads to the aspect of job creation, increased productivity, income, and we see that, yeah, we have a well-improved standard of living among different set of people. Not just we having the high class and the lower class as well, you know, which is very rampant, mostly in the rural area and also some semi-urban area. But most importantly, one key area which we're also going to experience is the social progress and equality, you know, whereby we get to have equal opportunities and access to good health, access to education for each and every one, for every child out there. And another key area which we're also going to experience development and impact when we get to accelerate the SDGs is environmental sustainability. I know that many of us in our respective country, even someone was saying something regarding the issues of rainfall, and which has been inconsistent and unpredictable, just like never before. And very, very important, good health. Someone mentioned aspect of good health as well. Yeah, if you are not having a good health, there is no how you are going to enjoy this session. There is no how you are going to be in this class. And very, very important, we need to see to this key area. And another key aspect is peace and justice. The more we get to amplify the SDGs, the more we get to achieve a society that is just, that is inclusive and very safe and resilient. And talking about the strategies, though we already mentioned this in our discussion today, which is quite very similar to the levelers of the achieving the SDG transformation. The very first key strategy has to do with education and advocacy. Very, very important. And I really want to give kudos to each and everyone that have been doing excellently well, most especially those who are using their social media platform to advocate for development, to advocate for sustainability, sustainable lifestyle. Yeah, we need to do more of that. Beyond we waiting for the government, I know one of the greatest things we are looking for is when we have the government incorporate and, the SDGs into educational curriculum, most especially for K-12, primary and secondary school, even in the university. I know for some countries now, for some universities, we have universities that have departments for sustainable development. But beyond that, we need the younger generation to have good knowledge. And each and every one of you also have a role to play. And the simple way you can do that is using your social media too. Even your TikTok video, you can do something in line to SDGs. You can preach sustainability through any platform which you know you really love. If it is Twitter Space, LinkedIn, Facebook, you can make use of your social media platform. You can make some impact. And another key area which I want to talk more about is partnership and networks. My dear youth, I want to say that many of us today, we are always keen about owning something. We like title. I want to use we. I don't want to use the word you. We like title. And it's high time we change our mindset. Very, very important. You need to change your mindset, and from that title of a thing to the aspect of you collaborating. It's good when you own something, own an initiative with someone. Like one of the things we always preach in AIIDEV Africa is there is no project we do that we get to do alone. For this program, AIIDEV Africa has a lot of education partners, has a lot of knowledge partners, technical partners. We don't do things alone. Don't live life alone. Very, very important. Get to collaborate and get to network. The level of your network is going to determine your net worth. Very, very important. Those you think that they don't mean anything, or you can't live your life alone. Definitely the projects you want to achieve in a school or in that community, you need people. You need people to join you. You need volunteers. You need funders. You need people to support you in need. Very, very important. Partnership is key. Please, if there is anything you are doing currently, ensure you have people that you are collaborating with. It's good. You can have the capacity to achieve it alone. But when you have someone else working with you, it makes you to go faster. It makes your productivity easier, and it makes things work easily for you. I just have 1 minute more, and I'm going to go to the fourth one, which has to do with technology and innovation, which is a very principal area, which I would also like to speak on. If there's anything you are doing currently and you are not making use of the AI to improve your productivity in that regard, you have to do maybe further research, or you have to check yourself. And AI is not a threat to us. It's just something that we need to adopt and we need to leverage on. And I'm trying to personalize this for each and every one, but these are just strategies which we can get to adopt, governments can get to adopt, organizations can get to adopt, that will make us to amplify the SDGs, that will make us to become more productive. And still lastly, the aspect of policy and governance, which is very, very key. And in achieving all of this, I want to say that we all have a major role to play when it comes to achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals. And no matter the situation, no matter your situation, no matter your current circumstances, you can make an impact. Look at this picture of this woman. Her name is Gloria. She's one of the Teach for SDGs ambassadors. Right there, she's on the wheelchair and she's still having her SDG activation with our students. And these are things that many people always think that, oh, I don't have the entire resources, I can't start, I'm waiting to have everything well set. Don't let me deceive you. You are still going to be on that mindset. You want everything to be well set. You want to have like ₦1 million before you start the initiative. Think about starting small. But when you are consistent with it, it's going to grow big. You get to dream better and things will become more easy. And together, we get to achieve a better world for this current generation, a world that is safe, that is inclusive, and also considering the next generation in getting to meet their own needs. I think at this point, I just have to stop. It's already 3, and I would like to take questions. Thank you, each and everyone, for listening. And at this point, I can take some questions. Over to you, Hadiola.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. That was powerful. I mean, when you asked for additional time, I decided to keep quiet. I mean, you are my boss, but that wasn't the reason why I kept quiet. I allowed because I knew what power-packed information you were going to release. And asking for more time means that we are going to get more. So that was why I just let it go. But eventually, you didn't even like take the hour that you asked for. Thank you very much for that. Wow. I'm sure everyone on this call has benefited so much understanding about what the SDGs means in depth, not just the cliche of saying SDGs, without really knowing what it entails by now. So Mr. Emmanuel is ready to take questions. So I'll be reading your questions so that Mr. Emmanuel can take them. Please, let's start the questions. Try as much as possible to focus your questions based on today's discussion only. Thank you. Everyone is excited on the chat. Question time. Yeah. Thank you. We have a lot of people saying thank you right now. Very insightful section. I agree. I agree with Kalinga. This is very insightful. In fact, personally, I also learned some things despite being on the journey to being an SDG advocate for a long time. I still gained additional knowledge, which makes it really, really insightful. Yeah, Esther said that was simple and precise. Thank you. Thank you. Lena says
I'm going to share the presentation slide, and definitely we are going to have a copy to that. Definitely, I think I can see some people asking for the presentations slide.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. That will be helpful because I got also some people saying they couldn't really see because the font was small for them. So having access to the slides will help them digest the information more better. We're waiting for the questions. People are so excited. Yusuf says the lesson was exhaustive. I guess because it was too informative. People are still trying to digest through and figure out what to even ask. Because I mean, who comes to we are just trying to have a discussion and you came with a bazooka. You even came with a video. Who comes prepared like that? Who comes with a slide and a video to explain SDGs? Really, that was powerful. But we have questions. Amari Kwa Jude says, please, Mr. Emmanuel, how can we involve partnership in our SDG advocacy?
All right. So let me just quickly respond to that. Involving partnership in SDG advocacy depends on the particular project which you are working on. So one of the major things you need to do is to have need assessments. So what are the things I need to drive this SDG advocacy? And okay, let me use this Eco-30 as an example. We felt there is a need for us to make impact across different countries, and we using our social media platform alone, it's not enough. And what we intended to do is to reach out to other organizations that would also like to be a partner, and maybe as a media partner, as a knowledge partner. Those are the major area of our need for the program. And we have a whole lot of organizations coming in through for us. So depending on what your major need is, that will help you to determine the level of partnership which you'll be needing. But most importantly, you have to always say that even if it's just social media you can adopt, or maybe it's a street campaign you want to work on, try as much as possible to start small and try as much as possible to document your story. Take good pictures, do good videos, and the time is coming that the evidence for those things which you've done will be needed. And when you get to present it, you have a whole lot of people supporting you, funding your projects. And the likes of those people that, the industry leaders when it comes to SDGs today, they started from that very little beginning. Please don't let us forget this as we are also getting to accelerate SDGs. Thank you very much. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. We have another question still on partnerships. Dunio Gideon says, as regards the partnerships to work together to achieve the SDGs, have there been situations where some countries have refused to work together? And if yes, what are the implications?
Okay, thank you for that question. For Africa, I believe that we get to support each other. It's just one big family. And I won't use, definitely I know that there are issues amongst developed countries, but in a situation whereby a country is stepping aside, in fact, there is always this high level meeting which they have every July, and every country is being represented in this. So I can't really say that there is a particular, there is such situation, but in that kind of situation whereby a country is rejecting from getting to work with another country, that means there might be some contrary, maybe some issues which is not clear between maybe their MOUs when it comes to their memorandum of understanding. But the aspect of partnership, when you are working on the aspect of partnership between countries, it's best facilitated across the federal level. And, definitely we also have each country having their representative at the level of United Nations. So this, I know confidently well that a lot of countries are working together. And I know that most especially when it comes to Africa, I know a lot of projects in line to the aspect of renewable energy and mini grid in a lot of African countries, which these are been of great impact. And I've seen some situations whereby people in developed countries get to reach out to African countries to see how they can implement some of their projects. I mean, get to partner. I remember there was a time that someone sent a message. I think I can't remember the country specifically, and they were to apply for a grant under African Development Bank, but they can't apply, and they had to reach out to see if we can apply on their behalf. And these are, there are various forms of partnership, and not just at the level of government, and also at the level of organizations. There are different strategies to it. Sometimes I always say to that, many of we youths, we don't get to network. That's why we lose out from some global opportunities. And I'm happy that this program is bringing youths from different countries together. Imagine there is a project, maybe a grant sort of, you are meant to apply to that grant. Maybe you are from Cote d'Ivoire, and the grant is only for people in Cameroon or maybe Nigeria. Why don't you look for someone that is in Nigeria that you can work together to say that this person is a maybe co-founder, or you are both directors of the project, and you get to apply to that grant. These are possible means, these are possible areas of partnership, and which can be a win-win situation for both parties. I hope that answers your question extensively and beyond.
Thank you for that. And I'm also certain that the question Cynthia Gamboyi asked about how to get organizations to also partner has been answered in this your last answer. So we have another question to take. A lot of people are ready to partner, I guess, because it says, what's the place of globalization into ensuring the maximization opportunities presented by SDGs inclined organizations in countries? In short, how can we resolve the visa processes difficulty? This is by the Richards Network.
Sorry, the last part, how can we resolve
the visa processes difficulty?
Okay. The visa processes difficulty, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So what I think the question is asking is that There are opportunities in SDG inclined opportunities across the globe, right? You want to participate, but there are difficulties.
Yeah. I was reading a post on LinkedIn, and someone was querying. I think it was the recent ECOSOC Youth Forum that was held in New York in March, and someone was saying that it's the foreigners that always get to participate in most of these events, and that we have few of the Africans that do participate. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But there is a need for us to understand processes as well. And there is a whole lot that has happened in the system which is not favoring most especially the African countries. But I believe no matter where you are coming from, it starts from somewhere. I know of some people today that they have access to a lot of countries through the impact they've made. I mean, they have access to a whole lot of global events. And one of the common youths, one of the youth leaders I'm always proud of is someone like Olumide Idowu, and who is commonly known as Mr. Climate. And this is someone that started from the very little beginning as well, and now is making impact in different countries. So in this kind of scenario, I would just advise you, keep doing your good work, keep making your impact. A time is coming that you are going to have that access to events, access to global opportunities. There are a lot of politics around maybe when it comes to this international event for you. Yeah, definitely. But a time is coming that your name is going to be singled out for good and well celebrated, which you are going to have right and access to all of this. I think that's just the little advice I'm going to say regarding that. Your mic is muted, or is it from my hand?
Can you hear me now, please?
Okay.
Yes, this last question is from Mary Blessing. Mary Blessing is asking, given Tunisia's success in achieving the SDG goals, what specific strategies or policies can other countries adopt to similarly advance in their progress in sustainable development?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And I think one of the major area of their strength has to do with the aspect of education. Education is one of their major strengths, and very, very important. We need to prioritize education, and education in the long-term investment. I know that recently the United Nations Sustainable Development for Solutions Network, they proposed that each, and most especially for African countries, that there should be a long-term investment, a kind of 15 years plan, 20 years plan, which inconsistency of government policy definitely is not going to affect, or change in government is not going to affect. And one of the things that is helping the developing countries now, most especially those who have been able to plan ahead beyond the situations of, look at Rwanda, look at the development that is happening in Kenya now. And, these are things which we can get to prioritize. And another key area has to do with our industries and infrastructures. Very, very, very important, because this contributes well to the aspect of globalization, and which definitely improve their GDP and automatically contributes to their progress when it comes to achieving sustainable development.
Thank you very much. I'm sure that perfectly answers the question. Unfortunately, we will not be able to take all of the questions here because we are out of time already. And truth be told, from everything that has been said, both during the presentation and the question session, I think everyone have gained value, a lot of value from today's session. and indeed we've been impacted. So we want to say a very big thank you to you, Mr. Emmanuel, and we wish you well in all of your endeavors. We don't want to take much of your time, so we would like to excuse you now, and on behalf of AIIDEV Africa and the leadership of AIIDEV,
I'm so glad to be here, and thank you everyone. And please, let's keep accelerating the SDGs, and let's keep amplifying the advocacy of the SDGs. 2030 is just very close from here, just 6 years more and maybe 4 more thereabouts. But with you and each and every one of us on this call, we can make a great impact in Africa. Thank you once again for having me.
Thank you. To the entire participants, I can see Abdul Karim Ogunsoya says this was super beyond attendance. You know, it is the norm that most people attend sessions like this just because to mark attendance or to just be there because they have to be there, not because of the value that they are going to get. But you would agree with me that today has been really valuable and you've learned so much. And I would just encourage everyone to hold dearly to all that you've learned today, because they are kind of a basis for your journey on the SDG walk. So please don't forget to carry out your tasks for the day and fill out your tracking and evaluation form within the stipulated time. Thank you so much for joining this call. And I'm sure we will meet again the same time, the same venue. Till then, keep learning and enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Cross is an attractive prospect for workers too. Just ask the local talent. The area is brimming with brains. Google's new home will be within strolling distance of the British Museum, the Francis Crick and the Turing Institutes, prestigious University College London, University College Hospital, the Wellcome Trust and any number of biotech and AI startups. Lately, this ultra-commutable egghead enclave has stolen the crown from London's other wannabe tech hub, a grimy junction above Old Street Underground cynically nicknamed Silicon Roundabout. Anyway, enter Google, whose grand new edifice is said to have cost somewhere in the region of £1 billion. It's 11 stories high and stretches 330 metres along the King's Cross railway tracks. That's longer than the London's tallest building. The Shard is high, by the way. Many Londoners say